Hello and welcome to Billy Ho Sports. We're back again. We're heading up to upstate New York and Aqueduct for the Wood Memorial. We got a huge field of 12 entered. We've got the post position draws and past performances. So we're going to break down the field using those race replays, the PPs, and my own insights into some jockeys and trainers, how I lean one way or the other. So we're also going to be giving away a vintage Kentucky Derby glass to the first subscriber to pick the correct horse in the comments section. Pick the winner. So subscribing to the channel is free if you didn't know that. Super easy to do if you didn't know that. If you haven't subscribed, take a second to click that button down there real quick. And then right next to it, there's that thumbs up like button. Grab that while you're at it, and let's get on it. We're going to get into this. We're going to jump right into the past performances. We'll show the replays as we go along. If you watch my content, that's kind of how I do things. I think it's a good format. I think it gives you a chance to see the horses race and how they finish down the stretch. And maybe if there was any comments in place where they had troubled trips and whatnot. And then we also give you a view of the past performances. And I try to point out a few things along the way that I like to look for in a horse. So let's go on and get it going. Okay, here you have it. The Wood Memorial is a grade 2, going a mile and an eighth, $750,000 purse for 3-year-olds, and the all-important 100 points to the winner heading to the Derby. So we're going to start with Rodriguez, and that's obviously Bob Baffert's other Baffert. So he sends this one out to New York because I'm sure he's been just racking his brain trying to figure out how to separate these horses out with his entire crop. But I think with Cornucopian now probably off the trail, he's not going to have any more problems with that. But Rodriguez is entered in this one. I think it's a good spot for Rodriguez. The first thing I notice is blinkers off, which I like because I think that means that he's probably training up a little better. And I don't know where he lacked any focus in any of these races that he's run because he's done nothing but be right up on the lead. So he lost to journalism in that last San Felipe, but so did Barnes. And Rodriguez was third. I mean, he was definitely much the worst of the three there. But he ran a pretty solid second to stablemate Citizen Bull, beat Madicket Road. Then he beat Beza, who I think is a really good up-and-comer. And that's when Beza came out next race. So we just discussed Beza in the previous video on the Santa Anita Trail. So give that one a look when you get a chance. Now, early speed, I don't think it's all early speed. Like I said, he's tracked the leaders in every race here except for this one maiden breaker. So he knows how to sit off in that pressing spot in the right hip pocket of the leader, or maybe just third off the pace a little bit, let him loose a little bit like his next rival. So Mike Smith, I'm not completely crazy about the ride. I think Mike Smith's on the downside of his career. He just doesn't seem to win a lot anymore. He's only about 12-13% win rate, and he doesn't seem to be getting those high-level mounts anymore on the big-time horses. So I don't really know what to think about that, but he's veteran enough to give him a fair shake. So I think we'll be okay with Rodriguez going forward. And then that brings us to number 2, Captain Cook, Richard Dutrow, Manny Franco, the top jockey at Aqueduct, a big 100 in the Withers, proving his mettle. That was a very impressive run by him coming through as the favorite. And we always like to see the favorite get it done and done with some pizzazz, so to speak. So he's coming into the Woods sporting that win, and then humming with a bullet work on March 18th. And this is one thing I like. I like the last 2 works is, and I'm not a big works guy because sometimes they fool me, but I like to see the big fire bullet work blowout the previous to the last work, and then just a nice maintenance leading into the race. And that's kind of what we got here on Captain Cook. So he's going to be ready to fire, prime for action. Tiger 24, this is Bill Mott, Javi Castellano. Good looking maiden breaker here. Really ran well, won easily, but it was just a couple of weeks ago. So it's kind of hard for them to wheel back that fast, in my opinion. I don't generally like to see it because he's moving up in class. His speed figures aren't as good. So it's a quick turnaround. He's stretching out. The average wind distance is a little bit light for 9 furlongs. So you can see why he's 10th in prime power. So we'll move on to my Matoli. 24-1 long shot in the Gotham, ran fourth, brushed the gate. He weakened down the stretch, but wasn't a bad race going a mile, but he's another one with average wind distance at 6.4. I like to see closer to 7 or a little over 7 for but 6.4 is not bad. If they're raced into shape, they can get there, but it's also the connections, like I mentioned. You got Carlos Martin, who's having a really nice meet, but he's got a poor dirt starts record. And then is adding blinkers, but this one's a long shot to even hit the board. But here's an interesting one that some decisions are going to have to be made, folks, because we have a lot of good horses in this race, and we're going to just have to take some stands and hope for a scratch or two to narrow down your choices come Saturday. But Sandevil was favored in the Gotham, was upset by Flood Zone, but those two were 3 wide with Normandy Coast, and Normandy Coast fell off. Then there was just them two heads up down the stretch with Flood Zone and Sandevil, and Sandevil did give away. Now he did stumble at the start, but I don't know how much that affected him because he went right to the lead, and he ran a really good race. That's a winning effort there. Lescano's getting his 5th crack. I like the combination of Linda Rice and Jose Lescano. They tend to get overlooked a little bit, and sometimes you can get an extra tick or two of value on the tote board. So we'll keep an eye on that one and probably wheel back to it later on in the week. Now this one is going to be one that we'll talk about a little more later, and this is Hill Road. So Hill Road, just to go back, was over in Ireland running on the turf. Then he ships over and runs in the BC Juvenile and runs a really quality closing third right here behind Citizen Bull and Gaming. So pretty wild. Then, of course, they give the reins over to Chad Brown. And then Chad Brown trains him up, sends him out to the Tampa Derby, and he doesn't get any pace favors for a closer. -10, -16, extremely slow pace. That's why everybody was really just shrugging off Owen Almighty's kind of dominant performance in that race because he got out to the lead and there was nobody going to catch him. And that's why this speed rating's only 87. But you can see he closed at a 104. He was really humming down the stretch. He just didn't have the horse, after sitting back with a 23:48, 112 pace. But he's working sharp, second off the layoff, 28% trainer. Joel Rosario likes to get him out a little quicker. So all of this is a good recipe for Hill Road to have a good quality run here in this race. Then you have Grande, another one that's just really looking strong. 2 for 2, Todd Pletcher. Going to have Dylan Davis, one of the top jockeys, sired by Curlin. Nothing but good things to say. Quality wins here. Optional claiming, good numbers. Rapoli Stables and sire, just everything lines up for this to be a quality horse. Now it's going to be a big jump in class. He did dispatch his rival Jimmy's Dailies with pretty easily. And Jimmy's Dailies competed in the Florida Derby. He ran okay, but it wasn't really like he was threatening anything to do with the winners. But this one's a son of Curlin, so good combination of the pace and stamina, and that one's one to keep an eye on. Passion Rules is another one. Brad Cox, if he gets another one popping here, it's going to be a trip because he's going to be absolutely loaded coming back home to Louisville. He's got Kendrick Carmouche, who's one of the top 2-3 jockeys at Aqueduct. Then this one is popped in the optional claimer off the turf. So he thought, well, hell, we got something here. runs them right back in the OC 50, wins again, then runs them right back and bumps it all the way up to the 200K category, wins again. So he's 3 for 3. Sharp workout, high percentage jockey, Brad Cox. I mean, I don't think he's going to win this race, but it would be one that you want to ignore underneath. I think he can press. I think he can sit off the pace a little bit like he did here, going blistering pace too. That's a really fast pace. So that's Oaklawn Park, which has been an absolute drag strip, FYI. So he got his training and some speed. So he's got some speed to run at here. So don't be surprised. Bear Claw Necklace, not just a clever name, but it's Saffy Joseph. The speed isn't there. Nice third, going a mile in an optional claimer. Nothing here sparks my interest at all. Pass. McAfee, I think he got exposed in the Gotham. I don't think he's as good as people think he is. I think they're just trying to make it a thing because of the Pat McAfee show, throwing out references left and right. I guess maybe trying to get some more attention on the racing or whatever. I don't really know, but I'm passing on him. I don't think he's built for this. He couldn't even get a mile, and now he's going to try to stretch to a mile and an eighth. So no thanks. There's too many other good horses in here. Statesman, another one that's a good horse, but one that you can't really go after here. Back-to-back wins, Shug McGahee, mile and a 70 both times. He got bumped at the start, shuffled back in the last one. He waited for the call from Sam Marin, and then took a peek inside, but was walled off. So he was forced all the way 6 wide in this race right here, and got it done down the stretch. And I mean, he closed like a banshee to win with ease, really. So he's going to have to show more early speed to even have a chance. But nice developing horse. So, not out of the realm of possibilities to maybe get a slice, a check, maybe. And now our favorite long shot play, Omaha. And this one's done nothing but just run good. I mean, he's cashed checks. He's like an ATM machine. Just put that card in there and just keep withdrawing. And then the closer had some good pace right here to close at. Good pace in the Jerome and got all the way up to Cyclone State in that one. So really close. But then the Withers didn't quite get the pace, but still got third. And the Virginia Derby was a complete bad fit, I think, for him because he needs pace to close at, which he did get a little bit of pace, but a one-turn speed favoring racetrack at Colonial for a closer to try to get there, and has been notoriously slow out of the blocks. So he needs to get out of the blocks faster. I'm not going to leave him out of exotics because I think he's back to a track he's very comfortable at. He's got 2 good results there in 2 good stakes races. So Omaha is going to be somebody that I'm going to have interest in. And that is your field of 12. Let's round it out and get out of here. So, ton of early speed, I think Rodriguez is going to have to deal with. Captain Cook to his right, going to be braking sharply. Then you have Sandevil, you have Grande. Recipe for a swift opening pace is stewing. I did mention I like the Linda Rice Jose Lescano combo aboard Sandevil, so that one I'm going to have interest in. But Rodriguez, not just a front-running speed horse. He might be able to rate being on the rail, save ground, and be there at the end. The blinkers come off, so that's probably a good idea to have the blinkers off with him on the rail so he can see what he's doing. But I don't know that he's going to win this race. I think the horse that's going to be in great position to close it out with a win here is going to be Hill Road. He hasn't had a positive pace to run at in the 2 major races he's been in so far. So basically what I said, I default to jockeys and trainers when it's really close. Chad Brown back in his house, Aqueduct, and Joel Rosario is on the mount for Hill Road. So those 2 I'm going to go with. They're going to be ready to strike. So Hill Road's going to be my top choice. And then I think the last horse standing amongst the Rodriguezes, the Captain Cooks of the world, I think those two are probably going to be your most likely horses to get after it. Captain Cook could just wine and dine us again. I'm not really sure. But Grande's there, and he could run a monster. And like I said, Sandevil too. So it's going to be really close. But we'll know more later on in the week. Let me know in the comments who you got, and you could win a prize. So that's all for this show today. Lots more to come. So get ready, and we'll see you at the finish line.